infrastructure development and much more infrastructure development. What can we expect now? What's the latest target that you've set in terms of road construction for the ministry? And more importantly, we've seen a significant rise in commodity prices on account of the conflict between Russia and Ukraine at this point in time, steel prices, cement prices. How much of that is a factor? How much of that is weighing on your plans in the infrastructure sector today?
Actually, particularly because of inflation in the prices of steel, cements are really a big problem. Our contractors are also facing the problem because now the economic viability is really a problematic. But the reason is we need to find out alternative. Just now the proposal is ready in my office that we are now using alternative thing for the steel. We are now decided to use glass fiber steel, and we are now going to issue the notification for that. We need to find out the different alternatives for that, by which we can reduce the cost. Because when there are more manufacturers, 100% there is a competitive price. When there is monopoly, the cartel is there. So this is very important. And the second important thing which I feel that it is because of the energy prices, everywhere it is rising. Coal, petroleum products, all type of energy is now the cost is high. The best option is import substitute, cost effective, pollution free and indigenous. Now government is giving lot of coal mines for the private sector, and by which we are going to increase the coal production in the country. We are very cautious about increasing the production of bioethanol. We have sugar surplus, wheat surplus, corn surplus, and that this is the time that we need diversification of agriculture towards energy and power sector. So we are on the same line to increase the production of bioethanol. Then we are using by biotechnology, we are increasing the productivity of biomass and using biomass for making of green hydrogen and ethanol. We are also trying to develop methanol in the country. Now we can add 15% methanol in diesel. So these are the lot of new initiatives taken by our government, and ultimately in our power basket, 38% of the power is the solar power. So 100% I am confident that we want to increase solar power, wind power. We are also try to increase the thermal power because we don't have any option. Regarding coal, a lot of coal is imported. This is the time that we have a lot of coal mines available in India. So we need to increase the production. So on the way, we are trying our level best at due course of time. We will be import substitute, cost effective, pollution free and indigenous power alternative solution for the country.
That's clearly the slogan that you've come up with, right? You keep repeating that over and over again. But Mr. Gadkari, two follow-up questions to what we just heard from you. And I think there were concerns, especially at the end of the negotiations at the recent climate summit, on our position as far as coal is concerned. And many felt that India hadn't taken an as aggressive a stand on coal or cutting down coal production as the world was expecting of us. But there is also a practical reality that India needs to contend with, which you just sort of gave us a brief overview on. How do you convey this message to the world that at least as far as not just the near term, but a fairly long-term view is concerned, we will need to continue to depend on thermal production and on coal?
Actually, frankly speaking, water, power, transport and communication. Without that, we don't have industry. Without industry, we don't have capital investment. And without industry and capital investment, we don't have employment potential. As far as we are a developing country, power is very important. But we are on the mission that presently 38% of the power is solar power. Now our idea is to go it up to the 60%. The most important thing is now we should think about geothermal power, hydropower, more hydropower. But many of the hydropower projects they are facing problems because of environment issue.
Yeah.
So these are the issues also we need to find out the solution for that. Even we have to increase hydropower. That is the most important. Then we are making green power from biomass. At the same time, it should be economically viable. And for that reason, presently we have a lot of coal thermal power project. And now in the future, the process is stopped. Now we don't have too much expansion in the coal project. But ultimately for our thermal power, we need coal. Without that, we cannot survive. It is really a big problem for the country. But at the same time by which we are increasing green power in the power basket, the day will come that we will be more than 65 to 70% green power. And day by day, we are marching towards that mission, that a day will come that India have maximum green power in the country. But this is to be some practical limitation, difficulties are there. On the basis of that, we are a developing country. Our world should understand what exactly the problem we are facing. The poverty, unemployment is a big problem. Our export is a big challenge. And in a situation, this is the time that we need to think on the mission, particularly to how we can increase the production of green power in the basket. We are on the mission, we are trying for that. But after that, though that mission is there, target is there, we have some limitations. And I am expecting from the world that they should understand the practical problem behind it.
Mr. Gadkari, you've laid out a roadmap in terms of where we want to be over the next few years. And as I pointed out, between the PLI scheme, which is about 50,000 crores, which tries to address the manufacturing side of the problem, and about 10,000 crores, which tries to address the demand side of the problem. I go back again to my point on, will this really be enough to make the kind of transition and shift that you have just spoken of? And how much more money will it require? Where will that come from?
Actually, frankly speaking, under the leadership of our Prime Minister, whatever the target decided by our government, our track record is excellent. We are marching towards our targets. There is a lot of difficulties are there, problems are there. But I always tell it to the people that there are some people who convert problems into opportunities, and there are some people who convert opportunities into the problems. So our mission of our government is accept the challenge, improve the situation, and go marching towards the target. And that is exactly the way ahead for us. And we are working on that. That is the reason I am telling to people, you develop ethanol, you develop methanol, you develop LNG, you develop CNG, you develop bio-LNG, you develop green hydrogen. Even you can develop ethanol. So even you can make bio-CNG and bio-LNG from parali, rice straw. So all type of alternative we are working, because our demand is very huge. And so that it will take some time, but they will come. As our track record is proved, that once upon a time, our solar power percentage was very less. Now the 38% of the power in the basket is from solar, and 100% within few years we will go up to 60%. But at the same time, now this is the time we have to think about the more nuclear power, think about in place of sodium, in place of uranium, we need to find out the technology on thorium base, that because it is available in the country, because the import cost is also very, very important. And on the same line, even the wind power, tidal power, geothermal power, these are the new options also we have to work on it. And all agencies are doing excellent jobs. And by making alternative fuel also, we can reduce the import and we will resolve the problem of pollution also. And we are encouraging public transport system on electricity. Now in my department, we are starting for that road, train, bus on electric cable. Mass rapid transport on electricity is the big solution. So we are working on that. The problem is difficult, but I am confident that we will be in position to resolve the problems.
So let me get you to delve a little deeper on that, and I think we've got just about a minute before we close. You said that your government's mandate is to convert problems into opportunities. So what are the big problems that you're focusing on personally at this point in time, and by when do you believe that you're going to be able to capitalize on them as opportunities?
Actually, the import of petroleum products is a big economic challenge and environment challenge. At the same time, using agriculture as a base to create more employment opportunities in the rural, tribal and agriculture area, where the socially, economically, educationally backward people are there. And to develop economic growth in that area is the highest priority. So by creating bioethanol, diversification of agriculture towards energy and power sector, it can be really a good boost for agriculture. At the same time, creating more employment potential is the need of the country. The automobile sector size is 7.5 lakh crore. The automobile spare parts industry size is 50,000 crore. And now our idea is to make Indian automobile industry so competent that we will be #1 manufacturing hub in the world. That's the reason we are now starting scrapping policy, by which the material like plastic, rubber, steel will be available with low cost, and by which we can reduce the cost of particularly vehicle in the country, will be more competitive in international market. So I feel that the way in which we are working on different line, 100% in due course of time, we will be 100% going to resolve all problems and give a green solution for the country.
So due course of time is very broad. Can you be a little more specific of what we should expect in terms of timelines?
Sir, you check my track record. Neither opposition, neither journalist never can ask me any question about my declaration, what I say, what I mean. 100% we are going to do it. But regarding this question, this is really a very big task.
Yeah.
The Niti Aayog, Amitabh Kantji here, he is working day and night for that. The Power Ministry is working, my ministry is working. We have an integrated approach. Prime Minister constantly pursuing the things, but challenges are very big. So it is very difficult to give in the exactly the time period. But now when people were asking me how much time for e-vehicles, so you don't ask me this question. Now I am sure that next time when you are going to purchase your vehicle, four-wheeler, you are going to purchase e-vehicle, I am sure about it.
Will you give me
we
a letter?
We don't need to market for that.
Mr. Gadkari, it's an absolute pleasure as always. Thank you very much for articulating what the transition roadmap for energy security and green energy security specifically looks like for India. We appreciate your time. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us here
Thank you, Shireen,
for
for the wonderful moderation. So we are going to have the big Europe panel now. We are actually going to transit into that, but we are going to break a little earlier for lunch. They need to be somewhere, the ministers who are going to be speaking on this panel, so we have to start it early and finish it earlier. And please bear with us. I'm sorry I'm taking away a little bit of your stretching time, but we'll make it up with a longer lunch break. Join me in thanking both the minister and Shireen for the wonderful conversation.